Hey, Gary!
Hey, look who it is. Haven't seen you for a while.
It's been a minute.
Oh my God. So we've been so busy between me being down for the count and now you. So we thought we'd finally get around to shooting something for the folks out there that are dying to know what we're doing. So what are you going to focus on today? The Charger? And it looks beautiful. You guys just kicked it with that body work, all the metal fab that's done. So we can let you and Dave talk about that one. And then we got something new coming up. We've got a 73 Cuda that we're going to convert to a 70. And we're going to do custom chassis. And we got a Redeye crate, full crate motor, like complete drivetrain that we're going to adapt into the car. We're sort of looking at the differential part of it right now, deciding if we're going to go with the independent rear or a Dana 60. We're sort of on the fence on a couple of things, but you're talking 800 horse, modern technology, all modern underneath in a 70 Cuda, so it's going to be really cool.
So we'll go check out the Charger, I guess, and then everybody's going to have to stick around to the end of the video to get the update and the scoop on the Cuda then, eh?
Yeah, I have to.
Sounds good.
Gotta go. I'd say tequila walking, but I have to be a good boy right now, so.
On the healthy kick, are you?
Well, temporarily.
Good, good.
Doctor says I gotta behave.
Well, should we show the people some cars?
Sure,
Sounds
absolutely.
good.
Give her a rip around the shop.
All right, Dave, what do we got in the booth here?
We've got some sort of a Dodge.
A Dodge, eh? Mopar. So it's black.
Black is beautiful.
And this is a tribute car to the Fast and Furious, right?
Yes, it is.
There's been a lot done to it, so
there's been a lot done. There's a lot of extras that have gone into this that you wouldn't even see in the movie car.
Starting with maybe, we'll start with what's underneath this body right now. There's a lot of tubing I see.
There is roughly, my best guesstimate is going to be somewhere around 160-ish feet of tubing.
Wow.
It's full tube chassis, full roll cage, front to rear, top to bottom. It's completely integrated with the body, with the floor. The floor has been built around the roll cage. This thing's pretty solid, pretty tight.
And I guess, like you said, 1,000 horsepower, supercharged Hemi. And if we look up front here, you can really see that tubing work that you were talking about that runs basically through the entire car, like I see down here. And then the floor and trunk floor was all covered up after the fact, correct?
Yeah, the floor is wrapped around the entire cage. So anything that you see from the inside, every corner, every seam, every edge has a roll cage or a frame section beneath it. It's we don't want this thing to twist. If it does twist, the car is going to be going over with it. Hence the full cage in it. Nice
and safe. And then all the tube work you did some pretty cool custom bending up here too. It's kind of hidden by the windshield pillar, so you try to tuck it up as high as possible, it looks like.
Yeah, get it up out of the way. I'm not going to say out of sight, out of mind. You're going to see it, you're going to know it's there. Hopefully you don't rely on it to keep you safe. Not that you can't, but it's one of those things you don't want to be going and doing something stupid and you know, to test it out.
That's it. And then the shape of these crossbars here, where you kind of step over there, that you mentioned that those follow the contour of the seats or something that are going in it?
Yeah, so we're going to be putting a set of Pro Car seats in it. Those typically the tubing that runs for the roll cage from the main hoop down to the floor for the driver and passenger, they're typically straight. A lot of the time it makes it really difficult to get in and out, and the tubing is bent in such a way that it conforms to the shape of the seat. Much easier to get in and out. You know, it doesn't get in your way. It doesn't.
More user-friendly, basically, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
And then up front here, this is kind of all prepped for the supercharged Hemi to go in, but this is all getting a different type of coating on the entire frame and underside, I believe.
Yeah, so we're going to use what's called a dominator. It's similar to a gator guard, or it's a sprayable bed liner. Very, very strong, very, very resistant to scratches, heat, marks, bumps, bruises, all that sort of thing. It actually has a really nice texture to it, not too aggressive. I know there's some of them out there that have such a heavy texture that you can almost cut yourself on it.
Like sandpaper, basically. It's so rough.
Yeah, yeah. And then this one actually comes out fairly smooth. Like you can run your hand along it and you don't have to worry about it.
Almost looks like a vinyl top in a way. It's kind of smooth to touch and whatnot. Yeah. And then all the trim, the bumpers, and anything else, kind of all the emblems going on this car, I heard are going like a satin black. So this is going to be black on black, is it?
Everything is going satin black, with the exception of a couple things, possibly some rings around the on the lips of the wheels. We're going to have a gigantic polished blower on top of that Hemi. So
that's going to be enough jewelry.
Yeah.
Super cool.
We're not going to need much as far as bling on this car.
And then underneath the rear end, what's it getting? Just a Mopar 8 3/4?
No, it's going to be, it's an in-house built 9-inch housing.
Okay, yep.
It has a in-house built as well, 4-bar setup. Good set of coilovers, front and rear. The front suspension is also built in-house.
Talking about suspension and the rear end. With the rear end, you've narrowed it a certain little bit, but you did some pretty trick stuff underneath the wheel wells, didn't you?
Yeah, typically these older Mopars, what they do is, from factory, there's a hump partway through the inner wheel well, and what that does is it kind of restricts the tire size that you can put on it. Now, from factory, what it would be is from the quarter panel inward, it would eliminate roughly 3 or 4 inches of tire clearance. So unless you've got it all, you're a big fan of Joe Dirt, and you've got the back bumper 3 feet off the ground, you're not going to fit a very big tire in there. So what we've done is we've squared it off to the quarter panel. It actually allows us, and we've trial fitted it already. We've had a 325 35/20 tire under there, and it does not hit. With doing it the way that we did it, we didn't have to get into cutting out the
inner wheelhouses and stuff. Yep.
Wheel wells, and it saves it that way. It saves more space inside the vehicle for anything you might want to do. Really
cool. And obviously the paint job speaks for itself. This has not been cut or buffed in any way, shape, or form. You guys are just finishing up the fenders and doors. It's looking pretty glassy. There's some pretty hidden little sleek details in the trunk lip. I think you molded something in there, did you?
Yeah, actually I was inspired on my way to work one morning. Happened to have a HellCat Charger actually drive past me on the highway. First thing that I noticed besides the noise was the shape of the trunk lid.
Yep.
They've got a very distinctive spoiler that they put on all those cars, and it got me thinking that the rear end of this car, edge of the trunk lid, just seemed to kind of drop off to nowhere. It was more deserving of a second look, so I actually came up with a little idea to integrate a newer Mopar type spoiler into the body itself.
It's very subtle, and once we get the trunk lid on, I'll give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of that, but that's really cool. He's sticking with the stock flip gas cap.
Oh, yep. It's a signature, right? It's
gotta leave it. Doesn't get any cooler than that.
That's right.
And then as far as the body goes, there wasn't too much modifications as far as getting rid of any lines. If anything, the lines have been trued up. Firewall's been shaved, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you know very well yourself.
Because I was one that did it.
That's right. Cleaning it up it makes for a far better finished product.
Yeah.
A lot of the holes and the gaps and the grooves and everything that they have in a factory firewall, they're meant to house essential things.
All the Mopar electronic boxes and relays and
yeah. So it's not the prettiest. It doesn't look great on any custom build. See all these little dimples and holes and screws and everything anywhere. So what we're doing is, because we're going to have it as much invisible wiring and lines and hoses as possible. Where we're going to try to keep it clean. You know, you look under the hood. You know, besides the blower and the injection system and everything else, all we want to see is motor.
love it.
Love it.
And that's all you're going to see with that blower sticking out. So
That's right.
awesome. So kind of touch base on the body, the frame, the tubing. Anything else kind of that we're missing here, you think, or?
Not right off, I don't think. There's going to be there's a whack of stuff coming still. So
Parts.
parts.
Awesome, Dave. Well, thanks for your time, and we'll let you get back to sanding and get this thing back together, eh?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Hey, you're sneaking up.
What are you watching there?
You know, you want to see this? This is real interesting. So this is the pallet assembly that we've bought for the Cuda, which is real interesting because you've got motor transmissions, all the cooling system, steering with paddles, drive-by-wire pedals. I mean, everything is there. This is the neatest setup. So these folks are down in Ohio. It's just like that, man.
Turnkey, eh?
Turnkey, gauge cluster, column with the paddles. You know, there's a dual fob system on the Redeye. You've got AC controls, shifter, pedals, exhaust with the cats, which is silly money. And even comes with the gas tank with the senders. So this is a real neat setup. You're talking 800 horse. And we're going to adapt this to the Cuda that we're doing.
Wow. Whereabouts is the motor right now? Is it on its way up,
it's
or?
ready to go.
Yep.
We should have it here by the end of the week, is what we're hoping. And we've got to strip the Cuda apart, get everything off of it, and get it on a rotisserie because we've got to blast it. And then we'll start, because we're going to cut.
Oh, that sounds mean.
Sharp. Isn't that sharp?
What is it, 800 horse you're saying?
Yeah,
Something
800
crazy?
Horse, 800 horse.
Does it come with a red key too, or?
It does. It comes with the red key as well.
That is awesome.
So, and there's the pallet pictures. So we've got all kinds of pictures that we can show you folks. You can see everything there. It's really neat.
That is pretty crazy.
The beauty of it is, it's got, when I got wrecked, it's got just over 3,500 miles on it. So it's basically
brand new. And this customer kind of wants to stay incognito.
Well, he just, you know, he's a busy guy, and he wants to build this quietly. So we're, no names will be used.
And as far as the car goes, like you mentioned, he's doing a bit of a Restomod. Do we know color or?
A Restomod. It's like I said, all modern drivetrain, modern interior. Right now, we're looking at adding the same braking system with the ABS sensors from the Redeye, and the rims, we're looking at a 5-spoke, probably 10x20 on the rear and about an 18x9 on the front. But lots of details. It's going to have flush mount glass. All the drip rails are going to be on.
Getting rid of all that then?
Getting rid of that. We're changing it to a 70. So different taillight panel, etc.
That's the most desirable model, I guess,
yeah,
eh? Yep.
So, you know, color-wise, I think he's a little bit on the fence as to which color, but we're a long road.
Hopefully it's a bright color.
It needs to be for that kind of car. They look awesome in like Hemi orange or something along that line.
And then chassis, is he sticking with the unibody and stiffening it up, or?
No, we're building a full custom chassis, front and back, so it'll be a rectangular center and more than likely tubular front and rear. And then the complete rear end assembly is the independent rear end that comes in the Redeye. So we're going to try and we got to check some measurements, of course, but if we have to, we'll do custom A-arms and shorten the half shafts to get it under the car. So there's a lot of work, lots and lots of work, lots of fabrication. Should keep everybody in the shop busy between that. We got a blown Hemi sitting in the other side of the shop for the charger. We've got, it's going to have a Tremec 5-speed in it. We've already got the rear end housing made for that one. We've got the brake kits here for it. It's going to have those cool shot wheels on them, like we did on the pickup truck, a little bit smaller. But overall, I mean, how can you beat that? The black car, it's going to have satin black bumpers and trim. It's going to look really, really sharp.
Oh.
I can hardly wait.
I'm sure they saw some clips earlier in this video and they're stoked on that build.
Yeah.
What do you think, Johnny?
It's going to be good.
A man of small amount of words.
Oh, I know it's been a while since our last episode, but
yeah,
any follow-up words there, Gary?
You know what? It's nice to go and do this again, because people were messaging me asking why we'd stop doing them, but I think most people probably know I got quite sick back in sort of the first week of February, and this last 6 months has been interesting
tough,
to say the least. You know, the ticker is getting a little bit better, and I'm going in for another surgery in July. So hopefully that gets things back to where they are. But, you know, it's been hard because I was having breathing problems. I couldn't even really speak. So, you know, I really wasn't up to doing videos and stuff. So
we're glad to see you doing better.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
Bad for an old guy.
And we'll keep bringing the camera in and
absolutely, man.
keep
There's
giving
stuff going on here. There's a Bronco almost ready to go out the door. There's a whole bunch of them that are so close. There's a 37 Chev that's getting shipped up north. What else we got over there, man?
Well, you don't have 42 fingers on your hands, so I don't think you can rind them all off. But
honestly, we're around 40 cars, and you know, it's been, you know, all the spin-off stuff from COVID is, you know, you don't have enough manpower to look after that many cars. So we're continually moving, trying to keep them all pushing forward, and then all of a sudden you get a group of 3 or 4 or 5 that are ready to go. And that's basically been, you know, the formula here for the last couple of years, because, you know, normally we would have 13 or 14 guys here, or staff here, and I think we're running at 8 or 9. And we just, you know, so if there's anybody out there that's got some really, really good skills, come talk to me. We need extra guys.